Hey everybody, you're watching Coinroll Hunter. I went to my bank and I asked them if they could sell me an entire box of silver dimes at face value. Well, of course they can't do that, but I bought this box anyway, $250, and we're looking for silver. If we find silver in here, we will have just paid 10 cents a coin, which would be an incredible deal. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, it's James and you're watching my channel, Coinroll Hunter. Of course, the bank isn't necessarily going to be able to sell you a full box of silver dimes. For the most part, they have no idea what's in the rolls they have. They're just dimes to them, pretty much. I've opened this up because we want to check and see if we have customer wrapped rolls here in Canada. Customer wrapped rolls are these rolls here where one end of the roll is open, so somebody can take dimes out, put dimes in, roll up what they've got in their piggy banks. This is what we want here in Canada. The reason for that, of course, is because machine wrapped rolls are probably subject to the Mint's ARP, Alloy Recovery Program. Basically, coins are collected from the banks, they are processed, and all of the silver coins and even all the nickel dimes are removed from circulation, melted down to fund the Mint's operations. But if we've got coins that came from somebody's house, from their piggy bank, I was almost going to say we're likely to find silver. That's not really true. We're actually unlikely to find silver. It's very scarce, but there's a possibility we can find silver. So there are, I think, 50 rolls in here. There should be. Some of them are bundled up. Some of them are kind of haphazardly put in here. But we've got 50 rolls. I'll probably take the elastics off so that I can get them into nice rows. We want to get in here and find out if we can find some silver or anything else that might be valuable. So let's dig into these rolls and see what we can find. Just getting the elastics off here and looking at the ends as I'm putting them back in. There's some older Queen Elizabeth portraits. There's even some American in there. That's usually a good sign that these aren't already searched. Anything goes. People just wrap up whatever they've got in their piggy bank, take them back to the bank. These rolls probably came from a bunch of different customers. So we don't really know what is in here, but we're hoping to get lucky. Roll number one, here's our first find. This is the 2021 Blue Nose Under Sail, one of my favorite coins. I just love the texture of the water. Such a cool coin. Same roll, there's a 2024 King Charles III. It's a bit early in the year yet for me to start finding the 2025s. I know some collectors in big cities like Toronto and maybe in Ottawa or Winnipeg might actually start to see them closer to the Mint facilities or in bigger centers where they're distributed. But I'm in a rural town in southwestern Ontario. I don't usually see them until August, September, and even later in the year. So still waiting for 2025. Roll number two, and this here is an older US dime, 1965. So we're just a year off of silver. They stopped making dimes in silver in 1964. That was the last year. This one here, you won't find a mint mark on it. Interestingly, 65, 66, 67 didn't have mint marks. So we don't really know if this was minted in Philadelphia or if it was minted in Denver. And I think some circulating coins might have still been minted in San Francisco. I'm not sure. Put a comment below if you know if that's true or not true about San Francisco in 1965. Same roll. Here is our third US dime from this roll. This is a 2011. It is in exceptional condition. And what I found is that all of the coins in this roll are from 2011 or earlier. And so some of those later dates, 2009, 2011, are in exceptional condition. I don't know if there are any for me worth keeping, but this US dime could potentially be an upgrade or a good option for my own collection. It is out of Denver. You can see that D mint mark on this one. Here's roll number three. The first thing I do when I empty a roll, I put it in my hand like this and I check the edges. What I'm looking for typically is if I can find any silver, but you can easily spot any of the US by those copper edges, but we have a blue edge, which is really odd. So we'll see what that is. It's obviously environmental damage, but particularly blue, and it's going to be a US dime. And let's see, what is it going to be here? It's a 1981, so it's not silver, but it has obviously been subjected to the elements. I don't know if this is underwater or what, but just along the rim. Very interesting. Roll number five, there's a 1968, and that is a transition year, so some dimes were made of nickel and some dimes were made of silver. And I'm going to get a magnet to see if this is nickel. And well, we've got that other one, but it's, okay, it's sticking. So it is very definitely made of nickel. So we're always looking for silver. There's another thing on these 1968s that's very interesting and curious, and that is that the reading on the edge varies because some of the 1968s were actually minted at the Philadelphia Mint. And so the reading on the edges is a little bit different because the US Mint just used their own collars. So they're kind of a squared off edge as opposed to a V type reading that you might find on Canadian dimes. So that is interesting. This is roll number 6, and we've got a bunch of darker and discolored edges. It makes it hard for me to see if there's any silver. Silver often is going to look like really bright white. That's when it will really stand out. But if it's tarnished, it can be really dark like this edge over here. But we can see a bunch of discolored edges, and it looks like this might be just a roll of dirty coins. Of course, you don't know until you actually look through them, so I'm going to put it down. I'll go through them like normal, and if we find anything interesting, then I'll bring you back in. And here is that edge coin. So we are definitely going to get a roll of very dirty edges. I still want to look through everything because you just never know what might be hiding in here. But this 2018 is pretty discolored, some environmental damage. It's got some like rust spots and everything. It was probably in water, who knows. Same as the one behind it. So we'll have to look carefully at each of them and check the dates. So we're partway through that roll, and here's the condition of some of these coins. Rusty, dirty, dingy for the most part. But have a look at this. It's a 1962. We have silver, and we've been on a bit of a silver drought with our dimes, but this is going to be a laureate portrait, and you can't even make it out. You can barely see the ribbon in her hair. This is in terrible condition. But it is 80% silver that we paid 10 cents for. That's what I was talking about at the beginning. Could we get silver at face value? And we just did. 1962 silver dime. We're going to check and see if anything else might be hiding in this roll or any of these rolls. We're just at the very beginning of this, so I'm feeling pretty good. We're just 6 rolls in, and we've got silver. Boom! Same roll, and there is another 2021 Blue Nose under sale. We also want to find this one in color. They're out there where the waves are blue, and this one is actually in good condition. It's not in terrible rusty condition like a lot of the coins in this roll. Roll number 7 had 6 US dimes in there. Nothing silver, nothing old necessarily, and that's not really uncommon where I live. I'm not too far from the border in southwestern Ontario, and US coinage circulates pretty freely here. And we got a bit of a stack already. These ones in front are actually in really nice condition. I'm going to check against my old collection, but this is going to bring us over 20 US dimes in just 7 rolls. Roll number 9 is another one of these dirty rolls. I can see a couple of copper edges in there, so we're going to have more US, but the question is there a silver hiding in here? I don't see anything obvious, though. Edge check on roll number 10. We got lots of copper edges here, so lots of Americans. So it makes me feel good about this box that somebody's just rolled up kind of whatever they had, and that's when we might find silver just hiding in plain sight here. So we're already at 1 silver with that 1962. We'd love to get more. And here's a stunner. This is the 3rd Blue Nose under sale that we've gotten in this box, and it is simply gorgeous. Just check that one out. Beautiful. Well, I'm in roll number 14, and I think we're going to have another silver, our 2nd silver. Do you spot the edge? It's all the way over here, and I think what I'm going to do is just drop the coins. And that looks pretty silver to me. We'll flip it over and see what that year is. It's a 1968. And I can just put the magnet to it just to see for sure. No pull on the magnet. That is our 2nd silver dime of the box in 1968. That's going to be 50% silver. 1968 was a transition between nickel and silver, so we always want to check that year, but this one is 50% silver, and we'll take it. We got an 80% silver and a 50% silver, and that is awesome. Roll number 15, and there's a beauty from the 90s. This is a 1998, and there is that crowned portrait. I'll set that aside. It's a pretty nice one. We don't usually find them that nice, particularly the 70s, 80s, and even the 90s. What's interesting about some of these rolls that I'm getting is that the newest coins in some of these, and this one I think might have been like a 2012. So a lot of the coins that are close to that are in really, really nice condition. I've been picking out a few over here that are particularly nice. So let me know what you think has happened. Is it that somebody had a piggy bank that was only filled up until, say, 2013, 2014, 2012, and rolled them all up? Or have these rolls been sitting somewhere all rolled up for the last 10 or so years? Really interesting. Here's a 1969. It's just circulated. It's made of nickel. It's just going to go back to the bank. But there is one extremely rare coin you want to look for, and it's a 1969 with what is known as the large date. It's basically the same style of numbers as the 1968, big block numbers instead of these small, fairly slim ones. If you find a 1969 with the big block numbers, you have found the holy grail of Canadian dimes, and that is going to be worth thousands of dollars. Extremely rare, but I know of somebody who found one just last year. So there, at least last year, there was one out there. There could be more. Roll number 18, and this guy has seen better days, absolutely. It is in terrible condition. It has definitely been abused, but you can see that rusty steel under that very thin nickel coating. Roll 19 has lots of US copper edges. This is going to bring us over a full roll of US dimes. I've got them all stacked over here with a few nice ones in the front. And we're only halfway through, not even halfway through actually. And so we're getting our money's worth. This, of course, right now, these US dimes are worth about $1.40 Canadian or so. So there's a pretty significant premium, though they do circulate pretty much at face value in Canada. But if anybody wants to roll them all up and take them down to the States and do shopping, that's what they might be able to do with these. Roll number 24, and we're finding some gorgeous coins. Here's that double dated 2021. And here is another blue nose under sale. Some gorgeous coins. And it looks, if you look at some of the edges in here, there's some other ones. It looks like this might be a bunch of 2021 commemoratives. I have pulled aside a bunch of these 2021s. They are just gorgeous. They look like they just rolled out of the mint. And I have a bunch of these. I was collecting them when they first came out because we weren't sure if these were really low mintage. It turned out they weren't, but some of these are just too gorgeous to put back. And I saw something else, another edge here that's very interesting. I've done a video on this in the past. Here's a 2001, and look at the dye deterioration that you can see all along Elizabeth and Canada. I'll throw this one under the scope because it's very, very interesting, and it's unique to this year, this kind of deterioration that you see here. Here it is under the scope, and you can see the letters under Elizabeth. There's, I think, just small dye fissures, maybe dye cracks along all of the letters. If I pull this down, we can see the same thing at the top with Canada, little dye cracks at the edges of these letters. It's really, really interesting. This one is pretty circulated. This doesn't hold necessarily a lot of extra value. This is pretty common, but it's so cool to see, so I thought I'd show you that. We're under roll number 28, so we're over halfway through this, and I've got an edge here that just looks a little suspect. Now, we've had lots of rolls with coins that have been dirty. There might be another one over here. It's really hard to tell, but I'm going to put this one down and just see if we might have a silver edge there. We've got a US ender there. And that is a US dime, and it looks silver. And it is 1957. This is our third silver dime. We got a Roosevelt dime, 1957, 90% silver to go along with our 80%er and our 50%er. So 3 silver dimes, 3 different compositions, 2 different countries, and that is super cool. Wow. And in case you're wondering, this isn't the first time I've found silver dimes here in Canada. I have found a silver dime in a previous dime hunt. I even found a pretty tarnished 1946 first-year Roosevelt dime in a roll of Canadian pennies. And that was really cool. So always happy to add silver, and really happy to add some 90% US silver to my collection too. Roll 29, and look who came to town. We're going to get our first colorized circulation dime here. This is the 2021 Blue Nose under sale. We got a whole bunch now of the non-colored versions, and this one is the colored version, and we can see that color enamel has shifted down a bit. It's not right up to where the water line should be. Very interesting. A little bit of a minor error I'd see, or a variation in the process anyhow. I don't think it's got a premium, but it's still cool to see that color in a circulating dime. We're in roll number 43, and we've got a few more copper edges. We're actually already over 2 full rolls of US dimes. That's probably going to be my record by the time we are done. Unusual. I often approach a full roll, sometimes none, and sometimes a bit more than that, but this would be unusually high. We're getting down to it here. We're in roll number 48, and half of this roll, it looks like it's going to be almost half. It's going to be American. So we're probably going to smash my own record for US dimes in a hunt. Very last roll, roll number 50, and I don't see any silver edges. There's probably at least 1 or 2 more Americans in there. So if I don't find anything in this roll, I'm going to tidy all of this stuff up here and give you a recap of what we found in this incredible hunt. So another 50 rolls hunted, another great hunt. We did fantastic in a lot of different ways. 136 US. I had to look it up. It's not a record. In my hunts, I've gotten 143 once in the past. That was probably my all-time high. So we're pretty close, but still a lot. And considering that right now, $1 US is worth about $1.40 Canadian, that's a pretty good return on investment right there. We got 9 of those blue nose under sale and 1 colorized one. I got a short stack of 2024s. They're really nice, but I don't really need to keep any of those. I got the equivalent of about 5 rolls of them last hunt, so I've probably kept all the ones I need to. So I don't really need any more. In fact, there were a lot of great dimes from different years. We got at least 1 from the 90s. We got a bunch from the 2000s and the 2010s. So I'll look through and see if there are any that are just exceptional if I want to add those to my collection. And we got silver. We got lots of silver. We got 3 silver dimes. I misspoke earlier. We actually got a couple of silver dimes in my last hunt. We got a 68 and a US. I was looking at my spreadsheet and I thought that we'd had 3 or 4 boxes with no silver, but that's not the case. That was actually just before the last box. So we're now on a 2-box streak, and we're on a 2-box US silver streak, which is crazy to think about. But we got 3 different kinds of silver. We got a 1968 50%er. We got a 1962 80%er. And we got this 1957 Philly 90%er. So we got all sorts of great silver. That was really cool. I hope that you had fun watching this and maybe even learned a little something. I try to make my videos informative and educational. I'm always learning, and I'm happy to share what I learn with you guys. And some of you message and say that it's been very helpful, so I appreciate that too. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, Cadroll Hunter, if you're not subscribed and you've made it this far in the video, go ahead and click the button. It doesn't cost you anything. Obviously, you're enjoying my content, so I appreciate that. And if you are already subscribed, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. We're over 11,000 subscribers so far and 11 members to the channel. So check out memberships, and I really appreciate all of your support. Thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate it. We'll see you again next time. The sponsors of today's video are Lighthouse Canada and the Charlton Press. Lighthouse Canada is the leading supplier of high-quality numismatic supplies in Canada, and the Charlton Press is the leading publisher of coin and paper money catalogs and price guides for Canadian collectors. Go check out their online stores today and use the exclusive discount code CRH20 for 20% off all your purchases.